Hello and welcome to This Week at the Movies. My name is Matt, and I'm going to be diving into a few different movies that you can choose from at theaters this weekend. We are on the third weekend of May, kind of in the heart of the summer movie season, and we are getting a lot of options. We're kind of between bigger blockbusters. We had The Devil Wears Prada 2, which opened on May 1st, a couple of weeks. And then this week, we're going to have The Mandalorian and Grogu opening on Friday. That's what I'll talk about next week. But in between there, we've had it jam packed with a lot of different releases. Last week, we had Mortal Kombat come out and some other things that came out, The Sheep Detectives. This week, we had a whole slew of new releases. Probably the biggest of those is Obsession. This is the new horror film from writer-director Curry Barker. This one had some really strong festival debuts in late 2025, now getting released to a wider audience. Curry Barker, probably most famous for his sketch comedy and horror shorts on his YouTube channel. This one, a bigger feature film, follows a guy named Bear, played by Michael Johnston, who is in love with, to the point of obsession, one of his friends named Nikki, played by Indy Navarrete. Uh, he can't quite bring himself to express his feelings, to take it beyond friendship. And while he's out, he is looking for a cool, quirky gift. He finds this novelty item called a One Wish Willow. He originally buys it for Nikki, but he can't even get up to the point of giving her that present. So, kind of in his dejected state, he decides to open it up and figures, what the heck, I'm going to make my one wish, that she fall in love with me. And this is really a case of be careful what you wish for. If you've seen the trailer, you know things are going to go off the rails pretty quickly, and they certainly do. I will start with the good. I think that there are some really deeply creepy and unsettling moments and scenes. Barker has a good feel for making you uncomfortable, for pacing. We also get some pretty solid performances. I was particularly taken with Navarrete, who honestly gives us some looks and some moments in character as the kind of possessed Nikki that would have made the viral marketing team for Smile jealous. Um, Deeply unsettling. There are some deeply unsettling moments. This kind of goes in a very dark and disturbing direction. And I'm going to give it a mild thumbs up. I know some people have loved it. It's not my favorite type of horror movie, so I will say that right up front. And I thought there were some good things. There was some excellent craft. There are some good performances, but I also thought it felt like it was a little too long and was a little too slowly paced getting to where it was going. Some people really enjoy when they dive in and they don't offer too much explanation. I don't need things over explained. I've complained about that in some horror movies before, where you get the kind of, we have to give you every psychological justification for every killer and everything. That's going too far. But there was a little too much mystery about who these characters really are, and what I was supposed to take from them. And One Wish Willow, I wish we would have gotten a little bit more. That being said, it's effective for what it is. And I think people who are fans of horror movies, especially this type of kind of psychological horror film, will enjoy it more than I did. I thought it was fine. Like I said, mild thumbs up. Some very great moments, some great elements, but wasn't it didn't resonate with me as strongly as it's resonated with some other folks. If horror's not your thing, that's far from your only choice at theaters this weekend. We also have the latest Guy Ritchie film. And I remember a time when a Guy Ritchie film, a film written by and directed by Guy Ritchie, would have been more of an event. Now it seems like we just get these kind of cool uh, back and forth flashy action set pieces every once in a while. He's done it with small screen, where we had adaptations on Netflix, and we're still getting them in theaters. In the Gray, one of those, this one about a kind of covert team of operatives who are working to get a ruthless billionaire gangster to settle his debt. It centers on a lawyer who is leading the negotiations, played by Isa Gonzalez, and her two fixers who are great at what they do. Sid, played by Henry Cavill, and Bronco, played by Jake Gyllenhaal. This one, 98 minutes. It is a blast for 98 minutes. I'm giving this one a thumbs up too. Not a deep movie. Does pretty much what you're expecting, but it is a lot of fun. It has a spectacular cast. Rosamund Pike is in this. Fisher Stevens is in this. Carlos Bardem plays the kind of big bad here. There are a lot of guys you're going to recognize, a lot of good character actors, and it is just a fun, it has some of the elements of a heist film, some of the elements of a gangster film, there are some comedic delivery, there's some fun back and forth, but it's really about Cavill, Gyllenhaal, Gonzalez, and what they're able to bring to the part. And I had a lot of fun. I wasn't expecting a lot. I just wanted to be entertained and to have a good ride. This is kind of the quintessential kind of movies you think about where you get at different points in summer where it's just some good spectacle. You can have a distraction of your life from 90 minutes. And I like that this one was a little bit shorter, more compact, packs a lot of action into all the sequences, some great set pieces, some great locations, just a lot of fun. So if that is the kind of distraction you're looking for, this one, a perfect offering. Next up, we have the drama from director Olivier Assayas. This one, The Wizard of the Kremlin. This is basically focusing on telling the story of Vadim Baranov, who was a key advisor who helped lead to the rise of Vladimir Putin. In this film, played by Jude Law. Baranov is played by Paul Dano. You also have a cast that includes Jeffrey Wright, who's part of kind of a framing device for how they're telling this whole story, and Alicia Vikander, who plays Baranov's love interest here. Look, this is not a story that a lot of people are going to be super familiar with. I know I wasn't. I was curious. A very high profile cast. I thought it had some interesting looks. This one clocks in at 2 hours and 20 minutes, so definitely feels a little too long. I'm giving it squarely a thumbs neutral. There are some interesting pieces, but I'm not sure what exactly I was meant to take from this. This is another film that made some festival rounds late last year that is now getting a wider release. And with that cast and with that crew and director and the subject matter, you would maybe expect a little bit of a bigger swing. But I think the fact that it just doesn't quite work, doesn't quite all come together, is the reason that you land in this spot. I thought Dano was fine. Law is fine, but we don't really get a ton about Putin. We don't learn a ton about Putin. A lot of this is Jeffrey Wright plays a journalist that gets invited to Baranov's home after he has sort of retired or been retired from the administration, hard to tell. So he feels more free to share his story and his kind of his rise and his role and some of the things that they did. And there are parts of it that are interesting. I was never bored's the wrong word, but I was waiting for it to kind of get to a point. It felt like it rambled on quite a ways, and then I would be looking and realizing, hey, we don't have a lot of this movie left. How is it going to wrap up? And I did not think it wrapped up in a very satisfying way, nor did it really wrap up in a way that told me, what am I meant to take from this? And surely in a place that's as clandestine as modern day Russia, with a figure that was as big a part of the current administration as there is, we probably can't know that much about them. But then it begs the question, why are we diving into this enterprise? So I ended up with a few more questions than answers. Not a bad movie, not a bad experience, but a little unsatisfying at the end. So a thumbs neutral. But if you are interested in diving into some of the history of the Putin administration, this will be an interesting movie to tackle. Last, another limited release this week. I am talking about the movie Life Hack. This one comes from Ronan Corrigan, who co-wrote the screenplay with Hope Elliott Kemp. This one focuses on a quartet of online pranksters led by Kyle, played by Georgie Farmer. He has three friends, played by Yasmin Finney, Roman Hayek Green, and James Schlotz. They pull small jobs. They call out bad people, but sooner or later they get sucked into the idea that they can take this kind of bad actor for a ride and trick him and strip his crypto wallet. They get into a little bit of a more illegal gray area, and as you might expect, it doesn't turn out that well. This is one of those movies that is told entirely on screens. These characters are not in the real world together in physical locations. This is told through their interactions online, kind of one of the explorations of online. You're watching kind of their hacking techniques and going through. And I thought it was entertaining. I give this one a thumbs up. I had a good time with this. I thought it moved at a good pace. I thought it was engaging. That type of storytelling isn't always my favorite, but this one really kind of built the tension and built things through. I thought it allowed some more interesting performances too. I particularly enjoyed Farmer in kind of the lead role going through all this. We start kind of at an end place, and then he's essentially going back and telling you a little bit about it. Corrigan has a certain knack for this type of storytelling. Not the first time that he has employed this type of storytelling. So I thought it worked well for what we were seeing. I had a good time with it. I think it'll be entertaining. I think it goes into some sort of surprising ways. I liked the way it was all drawn out. Some good performances, and it was definitely a pleasant surprise. This one playing in a more limited release, so it might be a little bit harder to find, but worth the investment, especially if you like these kind of told on screen narratives and the way they build tension. We've seen them work really well. We've seen them kind of bottom out. I thought this one leaned closer to working really well. Was a fun use of the type of storytelling that really fit with the story that they wanted to tell. So as you see, quite a diverse option of films out in theaters right now. If you want horror, if you want action, if you want a historical drama, if you want something a little more offbeat, it's all out there, something to look for. And that is what the summer at the movies is all about, a little something for everyone. So that'll do it for me today. As I mentioned, next week I will be back. One of the big summer blockbusters is The Mandalorian and Grogu. The first time we have had a Star Wars film on the big screen since The Rise of Skywalker, which was pre-pandemic. So that is a lot to look forward to and to take in. I'm hoping it's good. Big fan of the TV series. I will also probably be talking about the movie I Love Boosters, which also comes out next week, and maybe a few other things. But until then, I hope to see you guys at the movies.